Introduce myself. I'm Malaya, and I'm going to give Dr. Reid an introduction, and then I've got some questions to ask her, and then we're going to open it up to you guys. Just a fun little discussion on health and wellness. We're both dance and yoga lovers, so just to give you guys some background, so Dr. Noelle Reid is a board-certified family medicine physician and medical director of Trinity Health and Wellness Medical Group in California. Dr. Reid is from Chicago. Shout out everybody from Chicago.
Outside.
And graduated from Spelman College, the best college.
Yes.
And then attended University of Chicago for medical school and then UCLA for residency. Dr. Reid is a wife and mother to a beautiful daughter. As a dancer of many years, she now uses her passion of dance and movement in her career as a doctor. Dr. Reid stresses the importance of healing through a holistic approach by focusing on all elements of the individual body, mind, and spirit. She is a certified yoga instructor and shares yoga/wellness content on her social media. And we're so excited to have you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Sister/mentor/ a lot of different things. Spelman sister, Chicago native, everything. We've aligned in a lot of different
we took similar paths. Same high school.
I know, right?
College.
Literally.
Now yoga.
Right now yoga, and then the dance background. So many. High school and college is amazing. I mean, we went to the best high school and colleges out there. So
that's right.
Yeah, I wouldn't. We did. I wouldn't change my experience for the world. I know you probably wouldn't either.
Not at all. Not at all.
So, I've got some questions, but obviously, I mean, if we start chatting or if you guys have questions, you can drop them in the chat. But considering your background, here's some questions. So the first question I thought that everybody would benefit from is, because I know a lot of people that follow me on Ageless Mobility are mothers and a lot of people are women. So it is, can you share a little bit more about your personal yoga journey and how it has evolved over the years, particularly in relation to your medical background and dance experience? So by that, I mean, has it changed? Obviously, you know, being more of a dancer then and now an MD is different as in terms of like how you balance that. So tell us a little bit about that.
So good question. There's like, I think several questions within that one.
I'm like, maybe we break it down. However you want to answer it.
Okay, sure. So I guess I can just talk about how I came to yoga. So like my yoga journey happened, I wouldn't say necessarily later in life, but certainly in my adult life. And it's kind of funny because growing up, or really as a dancer, I thought I really wasn't interested in yoga. I thought yoga was a lot of breathing and stretching. It was boring. It wasn't a real workout. Why do I want to do this? It'll be a waste of my time. And then I finally took the time to actually take a class. And I was actually pregnant at the time. So my first yoga class was a prenatal class. And it changed my life because I realized actually by taking that class that it's so much more than just an exercise, right? It is so much more than just breathing and stretching. It's really about reconnecting. And that for me, I learned that it was a way for me to reconnect to self, to connect to God, to be not just a physical practice, but an emotional and spiritual practice. And I really needed it at that time in my life because I was a single mom. I was in residency. I was working like 80 hours a week and I was burnt out. And
right, you need something.
That's my husband in the background. Say hi.
Hey.
He's on the sick and shut-in list because he tore his Achilles.
What happened? Oh my God.
Trying to play basketball and he don't need to play basketball. That's the problem.
Is he doing yoga or stretching?
No.
Well, he probably can't do it now. He probably can't do it with that boot on, but maybe in the more recovery phase later.
Yes. No, he doesn't do yoga. That's the problem.
Oh no. We gotta get him. We gotta put him on. You never made him take a class with you? I'm surprised. Or have you tried?
On private sessions and he just, I don't know, he's just not into it, but it is what it is. And now he heard so maybe he's gonna be inspired to do it.
Oh yeah. Hopefully.
I don't know. But I was saying that, oh yeah, so I came to yoga, really, so as a single mom and trying to figure things out, and really it ended up being a healing tool for me because I was really suffering with anxiety, still have anxiety today. And I didn't feel that, what medicine, traditional medicine was giving me or telling me to do was enough. I didn't want to just have to take an antidepressant or to take some Ativan or Xanax to deal with my issue, which I felt would perhaps just put a Band-Aid on the situation. I really need to find a life tool that was going to get me through, because what I knew for sure is that stress is inevitable. Adversity is inevitable.
Right.
There are always going to be blocks and things that we come across that we need to be able to have those tools to push through, to breathe through. And that is what yoga provided for me, was a life tool. Learn how to breathe, right? How to breathe in those uncomfortable moments, and to learn how to really reset the mind so that I wasn't so easily triggered, and that is kind of how I came to it. And then once, hi there, my yogi, my little yogi. That's how I came to it, was really to use as a life tool to figure out how to get through those really stressful, uncomfortable moments. And then from that, feeling that, I need to share this. So, I don't want to just keep this to myself, but I want to share this, and as a physician, and really giving my patients a tool to use so that they could also have a life tool and not just have to rely on a 30-day prescription, because medications are necessary when they're necessary, but they're not the sole thing, right? They're not the only tool that we have. And so yoga really was a way for me to give that added tool to my patients, and really let them know that we're not one-dimensional beings, right? We exist in mind, body, spirit. And so this is a practice that allows for us to do that, to tap in, not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually.
Exactly. Yay, I love that. I didn't know that your first class was when you were pregnant, but that's very interesting. And I can see how the class probably impacted you a lot more, because obviously as a woman, when you're pregnant, I haven't experienced it, but I know that like you have all
a little bit longer.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not ready. You have all those added hormones and like things going on, especially you being a single mom. It's like all these other social, economic, whatever else is going on outside of your body, and those stress levels like adding to that. So it's interesting that you took it when you were pregnant. And I love that you carried it with you, right? Not just you took it beyond yourself, right? You saw that it impacted you, but not everybody, does that. They're very impacted by things, but you took that next step and share it now with others, which is amazing. So I'm just curious, from that class, did you kind of develop a close relationship with other people in that prenatal yoga class
What?
that you took?
I didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I probably went just a few times, and then I started doing my own classes like at home, and then eventually decided to do a yoga teacher training. And so soon thereafter is when I started doing my own training, and then of course decided to make it part of my practice.
Right.
And I had that in place for now the last 15 years.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love that. I love it. Next question that I have for you. And I honestly, I feel like this next question it's similar to the first one. So answer it however you want to.
Okay.
But kind of again on that same topic of balancing and being a woman and having so many different jobs at once, whether it's a mother, a child, having a career-driven job, and many different passions. What is your advice to other women who may be struggling to find time to add specifically yoga or stretching into their routines, and maybe they're kind of struggling to do that? Just advice as to how to add it into their routine.
I would say that you really just have to do it and give yourself grace in that. And that, I think it's good to kind of set attainable milestones. So, perhaps say, today I'm going to give myself 5 minutes, and I'm just going to sit here
Exactly.
breathe. Or today I'm going to give myself 15 minutes and I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to stretch, and I'm going to do, you know, my practice for today. And I think when we allow ourselves, you know, just those little increments of time, then that allows us to kind of build from that. Because the goal will be to do it every day, right?
That's the
To
goal.
be able
Yeah.
to start your day or end your day with some type of yoga practice or breathing and meditation, to really make it a daily habit. That's what the goal would be. But we don't
Exactly.
start there. You can start small, and 5 minutes counts. A minute
Right.
counts. Even if you
Right.
just sit and breathe and give yourself a minute, it counts.
Exactly.
And so doing it consistently, because that's really when it comes in, is consistency is key, and it ends up becoming more of a habit as opposed to a chore or something on your list that you didn't get to. You know, I would hope that every day we wake up and we brush our teeth, right, and we wash our face, and we
Hopefully.
hopefully we prepare ourselves for the day. So when you make that a habit, then you don't even think about it. It's your lifestyle. It's the way that you move. And so that's what I would, you know, suggest, especially for like busy moms or just, you know, busy humans in general, because we all got stuff to do, right? But we have to remember to give back to ourselves, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to give fully and to be, you know, the best human, to be the best person for anyone else, is to give to self first. So, you know, making those small, milestones each day, and then just working on that. And if you can, in terms of like, because my patients often ask me, like, how do I start a meditation practice? You just start it, right? And so the goal is to perhaps, you know, maybe start your day and end your day with breathing meditation. And again, if you could do 5 minutes, that's great. But I would say the optimal goal would be 30 minutes to start and end your day. If you can get there.
Yeah.
I don't always get to that, right?
Yeah. Every day
But
is so different. Yeah, it's hard.
yeah, every day is different. Every day has different demands. But if you can give yourself at least 5 minutes, you know, to start and end your day with breath and meditation, then again, that becomes a practice, that becomes a habit. And really, it helps to rewire the brain, you know, so
Right.
we're not so easily triggered when we move through our day and we're getting hit with, you know, different things throughout the day that can be stressful. We're able to respond as opposed to react.
Exactly.
You know, that's really what the goal is.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that for sure. And I think, because I get that question a lot, which is why I asked it. And I always tell people just start. Like, there's no perfect way to start. But I think it's really important what you said, like 1 minute, 5 minutes, they all count. And everybody everybody can't do 30 minutes a day, and that's okay, right? But just starting to kind of, just making that decision to start one day. Um, and really sticking with it, like you said, because consistency is key. It can be hard, but I think that nobody's going to do it if you kind of like make it seem like a chore, right? So find something, you guys, that maybe makes it more enjoyable for you. Maybe waking up early before like your kids are up, or doing it late at night. Like, find a room in your house where nobody's around, or even doing it, you know, at a location like a gym, or finding a fitness center where you really have that designated time to meditate, or to take just a couple 5-minute breaths, or a 5-minute stretch or yoga routine. But yeah, I mean, not to say it's an excuse, but I think everybody has so many things going on. We can all make excuses, right? Oh, I don't have
You can
time.
always
It's hard,
make,
right? We can always make excuses. Yeah.
and I think it's important to know too that it's okay to say no. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Good point. Good
that's
point.
hard for us, especially as women, is that we get asked a lot. You know, we get asked a lot as moms, as wives, as you know, just being, I think, in the family unit and in the community in general.
Right.
We tend to be the center of the circle, you know, regardless of who
The
we are.
group. Yeah.
Usually
Hold everything together.
we're holding things down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. And so, you know, and that's fine. And you know, I think there's a lot that we carry and a lot of burden that we carry with us. But with that said, you have to be comfortable in saying no sometimes, you know, that no, I have to take the time for
I
myself.
have to, yes. Exactly.
And that's an important habit too.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's so true. Especially as we start the new year, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the new year, there's so many new demands and new things maybe people could be trying to push in your face, and it's like just figuring out what to say no to. And I think, I mean, a little bit biased, but for me, and I know you can probably relate to this, like yoga and stretching and even meditating, or just taking a couple breaths, like you said, maybe it's not specifically meditating, but just taking that time to myself is one thing that's like a non-negotiable for me. Other things I can cut out, but like that, nope, I'm not cutting that out, because I know that if I start the day that way, like you said, when you take a couple breaths and when you meditate, it really helps to ground you, to center you, to calm you, to calm your mind and figure out what your intention for the day is, or what just your intention for maybe the week is ahead. And then you can really visualize your best self and go into the day a lot more relaxed and grounded. So that's why I love it.
I have to say that my yoga mat is my church. That is,
ooh, I like that.
able to sit down and be still and, and talk to God and just really figure out, what do I want for today? What do I want for this year? What do I want for my life? That's what it allows for me, is to sit and be still and kind of figure things out and find that intention and really figure things out. So like when I'm stressed about things, or when I feel like there's a conflict and I'm trying to work it out, I work it out like that. That gives me time to disconnect from everything else and everyone else and just be with myself and God and figure out, okay, what's going to be the next step for me? How am I going to approach this? And in most instances, that's how I'm able to kind of like figure out conflicts and how to kind of move and navigate and what's going to be my next step, whether it be in relationship or it be in career or whatever it is. That's the time that I use to figure it out.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that, because it's like that's a time when you have, there are no other voices. It's just you're with your body. And when you have that time with your body, you really get to think about what may be going on internally that you may not have thought about before when you were around others or weren't working on your body. So I love that. I would agree, though. It's my time to just reflect on everything. I'm like, I start thinking about everything that's going on in my life when I'm on my yoga mat. Let's see, what is next? What does so this can be general, it doesn't have to be just yoga, but just like general self-care tips and tricks. What is your self-care routine like? It could be about your yoga routine, could be about your meditation, or just general things. I think self-care, waking up early, waking up at 5, doing reading, whatever it may be for you. Can you share that?
I like to keep it simple. I think sometimes that we kind of like bombard ourselves, or kind of we place blocks that don't need to be there because we think things need to be so extravagant and intricate. Don't. And so for me, self-care is making sure I drink water throughout the day. Like, am I getting my 2 liters in?
Let me get
That's
them in right now.
right here. Did I do my yoga practice for today? And so I do try to set goals for like the week. And so usually at least 3 to 4 times a week, I try to set out time just to do my yoga practice. Saying a prayer. So, I like to start and I end my day with prayer. And for me, that's self-care, because then again, my intention for the day, and then I'm able to set my mind and body to, prepare for rest. I love skincare, so that's part of my self-care too.
Can never forget skincare, right?
I go through my whole routine.
Do you have a long routine? Do you have a long skincare routine?
I wouldn't say it's long, but I have a lot of fun.
Oh gosh.
So I make sure I cleanse, I tone, I get my vitamin C. I have my actives, whether it be mandelic acid or a glycolic, and sun protect, and a good moisturizer. So that for me, that's self-care. So just doing basic things every day is self-care for me. Now, if I'm trying to be extravagant, then that means, okay, we're going to do a spa day and setting that time. Like, I do try to do something like really nice for myself at least once a quarter. So like not forget myself throughout the year. So at least once a quarter, I will set like a day just to go to the spa. Or
like a massage day or something.
Yeah, a massage or just like a girl's day, or like I'll hit up my best friend and be like, you know, let's go here, let's go to brunch or whatever it is, like at least, you know, so throughout the year, I'm making sure that time to do something really special. But honestly, I would say it is a daily walk, it's a daily practice, and just doing those very basic things.
Yes.
That's, you know.
Yeah, I love the water piece because I feel like that a lot of people forget, guys, don't forget to drink your water. But I mean that it's real. A lot of people forget to drink water or don't carry it around, and I feel like it can affect, and you probably would know this. It can affect like my stress levels. My head will start to hurt if I haven't had enough water. So water is super important. And I remember, yeah, your daughter also loves skincare, so that's probably she
Yes.
probably got it from you. But it's so funny. We were like talking so much about the skincare stuff. We got so into it. But I love skincare too. It's like it makes me feel so good and great about yourself when you really just give your skin the love that it deserves. Like that definitely counts as skincare. I mean
Preservation,
self-care.
you know, we want to preserve what God has given, you know. I mean,
Exactly.
we age gracefully, but we want to slow down the clock.
Exactly. We're slowing down the process in every way. Shape.
Right.
um what for you, and you kind of touched on this before, but what for you would be some of the biggest benefits that you've seen with yoga in your daily life?
Well, as I said before, you know, I came to yoga really as a self-healing tool. And so for me, it definitely has helped me with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
It has allowed me to remember to go to the breath, you know, because really the most important part of yoga is the breathing that we do.
Yeah.
So what we call the pranayama, the breath work. And that's what I learned as I, you know, kind of went through my journey, is that you can always go to the breath and you can change any situation in a matter of moments just by simply being intentional with your breath, slowing down your breath, breathing from the diaphragm, not from your chest. So, you know, whether it be in the office where I'm, you know, going from patient to patient and they're stressing me out, or,
Yeah, real.
or I'm traveling because you know, travel can be, I love to travel, but it can be very stressful. And so like just taking a flight these days, I feel is very anxiety provoking. And so just kind of learn to breathe in those moments, being in traffic, you know, all of these like very basic
Oh
things.
yeah.
You know, yoga has really been helpful as a tool to allow me to breathe in those moments and give myself some time to reset and not allow myself to get, you know, to that point where I feel like I have no control.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel that it's helped to keep me mobile, you know, like things get harder as you get older, you know, it just is what it is. And
It
I
is.
think what I have learned and what I know for sure is that we are dynamic beings, which means that we are made to move. And so movement is a necessity. You know, it is needed in everyday life. And that is what I feel really helps to yield longevity, you know, and I want to live a long, healthy life. And that means that I have to move every day. And that's what I try to, you know, teach my patients is that it's really your behaviors that dictate everything. You know, like there's nothing that I can give you. There's nothing that I can prescribe for you that will get you to 100. You know, it's really about what are you doing every day? So what are you putting in your body in terms of your nutrition? What energy are you extending out that is going to allow for you to live 100 years and beyond? And so for me, again, yoga is that practice that allows for that movement that I feel will help to extend my longevity by just keeping me mobile, by keeping my joints well lubricated, and you know, all of the stretching that we do that also adds to that longevity factor. It's just a needed tool. You know, that's what I would say about that.
Yes, no, for sure. Now, on that topic, I had a thought that came up. So when you do talk to your patients about um, those other social determinants that may be affecting their health, right? Whether it's what they eat every day, or maybe it's that they have to like walk a super long distance and they're not getting the rest that they need. What does that look like as far as questions that you ask them? Is it? I'm guessing it usually ends up being about like diet and things like that. But how do those discussions play out when you talk to them about those things outside of like medicine and other things that could be affecting like what they're coming in for?
Yeah. So I think, first is really just asking them, what do they eat on a regular day?
Okay.
Is it balanced? I don't get so caught up into what type of diet, because I don't believe that there's one diet for everybody. I think that you choose what works best for you. And I think, and especially here in Los Angeles, I feel like people get so complicated. Like, oh, I'm vegan, I'm keto, I'm it's
There are
like,
probably all these other diets out there. You're probably like, what?
yeah, it's like, okay, that's fine. But, I don't feel that you have to even heavily restrict. I do think that there should be balance in all things, and that includes your nutrition. And so, kind of learning what are they eating on a daily basis. Does it seem like it is balanced across the board in terms of carbs, fat, protein? Overall, like how many calories, not the exact number but approximate how many calories you're getting in the day. Making sure that you're getting their fruits and veggies, which should be 5 to 6 servings a day.
Okay, 5 to 6.
5 to 6 servings, and making sure they're drinking their water. So for most adults, that should be 2 to 3 liters a day. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that that's how much they should be drinking. For a regular activity day, most adults should be getting 2 to 3 liters. And so that's important, in terms of maintaining proper metabolism, your digestion, your cognition, so your ability to think throughout the day, to decrease inflammation in the body. If you already have other chronic diseases, whether it be diabetes or high blood pressure, you want to make sure that you're well hydrated, throughout the course of the day. So those are some basic things that I want to know. And then movement. So are you moving, and are you moving every day? And so here again, for adults, most adults, it should be a minimum of 3 hours a week of some type of cardiovascular activity. The minimum.
Good to know. 3 hours a week. Okay.
That's what the American Heart Association recommends, is to get at least 3 hours a week of some type of cardiovascular activity to prevent perhaps the onset of heart disease or stroke. Now, again, that's the minimum, but really what's important is that you're moving every day, because we know that those who are sedentary, so those who sit for many hours of the day, and typically more than 6 hours out of the day, even if you work out 2 to 3 times a week, that doesn't negate the negative impact that sitting for long periods of time does on the body, for the heart and the brain.
Yes.
So those who do sit are at higher risk for early death, and death due to all causes, when they live a sedentary lifestyle. And the gym is not going to save you. So I think it's important that people know that, you really shouldn't be sitting for more than an hour during your active hours of the day. You got to get up and move 5 to 10 minutes, but make sure that you make a daily habit of getting up that frequently throughout the day, because the sitting is really what's killing us. It used to be smoking, but the sitting is the new smoking right now in terms of health risk and health hazard. And so that is, again, something that I try to address in my patients, is that movement needs to be a lifestyle. Yes, you want to get to the gym and get your cardiovascular activity in that minimum of 3 hours, but you want to move throughout the course of the day to make sure that you're able to prevent the onset of disease and perhaps early death.
Yes, no, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I think that, first of all, 3 hours of cardiovascular activity is really not even that much. I mean, maybe
it's not a lot,
like a lot, but that's not really that exact minimum. But yeah, we're striving for more. But I love that you brought that up, because I think too, like a lot of people that I have in my classes and stuff, it's very interesting to see, and I think just as far as COVID and how things have changed, that has definitely shifted the amount of people who work virtually, work from home, and therefore the amount of people in the world that are sedentary and are sitting for most hours of the day. And that can, as you probably know a lot more of it about than me, but I do know that like that can affect your depression and anxiety and a lot of other different things if you're sitting for that long. But I love the idea that just general mobility, general movement is so good for you. And it doesn't necessarily, I don't think that yoga is for, some people feel like yoga is not for them, and that's okay, but I just feel like if you do some type of movement, some type of mobility, it's okay. You don't necessarily have to do yoga. It can be a stretch. It can be
Yeah.
a run, but like walking, literally walking is so underestimated. You know,
Walk
walking, people don't realize how amazing walking is. Like, go for a hike,
exercise.
do something.
My patients that too. It's like, look, if you can just get up and walk, and you can walk around your house, you don't even have to
Right.
leave your house.
Right. And you can do it. Another thing is you can do it on the phone, you know, if you have like a meeting or at least a call without, you know, Zoom or anything. If any of you guys work from home and you need to, like she said, get up every hour, take that walk. Maybe you take a call, or maybe you call a friend, or eat a snack while you're walking, something to make it a little bit less, you know, just, oh, I'm going for a walk.
Or yeah, like you said, learning how to incorporate it even in your daily life, because a lot of us are, things have shifted since COVID for sure. I think what we have lost is a lot of incidental activity. You know, because we are working from home, people are literally rolling out of the bed, or maybe even staying in their bed, logging on, and then they're there for 8 to 10 hours. You know, so they're losing movement just walking to the car, or maybe taking the stairs when they get to their office, or whatever. That activity is lost, and so you have to really be conscious about putting that back in. So for me, because there are some days that I work virtually, you know, from home, I do virtual visits, and so I make sure really that I stand throughout the entire day. So I don't sit down
I like that.
And you can get a standing desk. Like these are things that you can do to augment and kind of shift things, whether you're at home or in the office, so that you're not having to sit for so long. And so that's I stand for the entire 8 to 9 hours that I'm sitting there talking.
Thanks for sharing that. That's so cool. I didn't even know there was a standing desk.
Yeah, or you get platforms that you can put underneath your laptop if that's what you have, so that you can lift that down throughout the course of the day. They have these little pedal pushers that you can put underneath your desk, so that you can either you can push or bicycle under your desk. You know, there's different things that you can do to incorporate that movement when you know, things have shifted to where maybe you are having a more sedentary work life. There's ways to augment that. So you just have to be a bit more conscious about it.
Yes, yeah, that's a great point. Thinking about that though, and when you have those discussions with your patients about that, have you noticed either like an increase or a decrease in like the amount of people that are interested in like yoga or a mobility or some type of movement practice since COVID? Like, have you seen more people are interested in things like yoga and stretching and everything related to it, or less, or no change at all? I don't know if that's something you've observed, but I just thought of that.
You know, I haven't seen a significant change, I would say. But I may have more of a skewed view because I had yoga and Pilates in my practice pre-COVID.
Sure. Yeah,
so it was already part of the practice. Like I said, we're 15 years in. So my patients were kind of already, well, some of them were kind of already aware of it. And so a lot of people actually come to me because they know that's what I provide. You know, they've already done the research that's the type of practice that we have
specifically for
wellness services. So I wouldn't say there was a dramatic shift. I would say that there was a dramatic shift in terms of mental illness. So I would say definitely during and after COVID, my encounters definitely shifted to where I was dealing with more depression, anxiety, more psychological concerns versus physical.
Makes sense.
That definitely has been a change. So where maybe 60 to 70% of my encounters now are mental health.
Wow. That's pretty big. Wow. Sorry, I was just saying 60 to 70. That's pretty high percentage.
And unfortunately, I may be the only resource that they have. You know? And so that's what's really taxing and, you know, challenging for me as a provider, because you kind of feel like, okay, I need some aid here.
I need to do something, like I'm their person, so I need to make sure I deliver. Yeah, it's a lot.
In terms of people having access to care, having access to therapists, having access to psychiatrists, having access to anything, it's limited. And so, you know, I think, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, I think for primary care providers, we're probably holding the bulk of the burden, because we are the gatekeepers. We're typically the ones that, you know, our patients see first. before they see any specialists. And so that definitely has been a challenge, is trying to kind of work around that and make sure that I'm giving the best that I can, to support my patients in that regard, because that has been the definite shift. Is that, e- everyone has been traumatized. We all went through some form of trauma over the last 3 years or so. And so we're trying to come out of that and try to move forward. And so, it's kind of dealing with that post-pandemic stress.
No, for real. That's so real though. Like you see it every day how real that is, and that's pretty crazy. But so for those patients that you have noticed the mental illness with, or people struggling with that, and those that you have recommended to try the yoga and the stretching and the meditation stuff, have you noticed that has helped them?
For sure. And, sometimes, I'll just sit and I'll breathe with my patient. And I say, you know what? Let's just sit here and we're going to go through a breathing exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that, is helpful. It's just kind of giving them a really easy go-to tool that they can use anywhere at any time, and kind of learning how to breathe. And so a lot of times what I'll do with my patients is what I call the power of 5. And that's where you inhale for a count of 5, you hold for a count of 5, you exhale for a count of 5. And so what that does basically is slows down the respiratory rate, right? And so when you slow down the respiratory rate, then that's triggering the brain to say, oh, we can be at ease. We can now shift from fight or flight, sympathetic drive, to rest and digest, parasympathetic. And so that's where we have a slowing down of the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine. And you can feel immediately, perhaps within a few breath cycles, just a calming effect that comes over the body, because now the body knows we can be at ease. And you allow yourself to kind of get in that cycle of not being so easily triggered, right? So that when we do come across a stressor or some adversity, that we can breathe through those moments and respond as opposed to react. And so, oftentimes that's what I will do, is just, give them an easy tool to use that can be used in conjunction with the other things. Because yes, again, medicine is necessary when it's necessary, right? But
Sure.
you want to be able to have those other tools in place to know how to respond in those moments of stress.
Definitely. I love the power of 5. It's interesting. I usually in my classes do 4 counts, but now I'm gonna try 5. Is there like a specific reason that you do 5 and 5 counts, 5 hold 5 and all that?
Well, it's easy to remember, because there's so many different breathing cycles or different you can do. But I feel like 5-5-5 is just
The go-to.
It's a go-to. And you are immediately then bringing down your respiratory rate to like 4 breaths per minute, as opposed to like 16 plus, which some of us might be in, which is excitatory and triggering. And so the 5-5-5 just works for me because I think it's just easy for people to remember and, to do typically.
Right. That makes sense. I think that the breath is a very underestimated piece of life in yoga, and I think for me too, yoga, that was like one of the main things that I learned from and loved about yoga, was the emphasis on the breath. Because when we're going through daily life, and if you don't meditate or do yoga much, it's kind of like you don't really think about it too much. At least I didn't to the extent in which I do now with yoga. And somebody asked me a question once, like, what is the one thing that sticks with you through life from the time that you're born to the time that you pass away? And I was like, I don't know. And the answer is your breath. And I was like, oh, that really hit me hard. And ever since I heard that, I've been like, wow, I mean, your breath is the one thing that is with you at all points in life, at your highest points and your lowest points. And learning how to control it is so powerful, because if you know how to control your breath, you can then gain control of your emotions and your thoughts a lot more in those super high moments and in those super low moments, which are oftentimes the times when we lose track of our breath and we're like either breathing super fast or we're holding our breath. And then that can lead to so many other issues in our body. So I love that you do that with your patients, and to hear that it actually makes a great difference with them.
For sure.
Great. Next question. We've got like 15 more minutes. So if you guys have any questions at this point, you can start dropping them in. I've got a couple more to ask her. What advice? Oh, I already asked this one. What are some common health misconceptions that you encounter as a physician, and how do you address those?
So I would say probably the most common misconception is that you need to have symptoms for there to be a problem, or that there need to be symptoms present for there to be disease. And that's not the case. Hence why checking in is so important, because oftentimes when you have symptoms which forces you to show up to the doctor, there's already damage done.
Right.
You know,
Too late.
when you're showing up with chest pain, there's already damage done.
There's already something that happened. Oh gosh, yeah.
Some very common conditions I think go overlooked or just not known about until is now end organ damage. So for instance, high blood pressure. A lot of people are walking around with high and don't even know it. And it is not until they're showing up in the ER with chest pain, or they're having stroke symptoms, or they're having a headache, or the vision is blurry, that they then get to the doctor to find out what has been going on for some time. Or maybe they just show up in the office for some reason and their blood pressure is 160 over 100. And it's like, well, how long has it been this way? You don't know. You didn't have symptoms for probably, it could be months of time. But by the time you start to have symptoms, there's already end organ damage. And so I think that's what's important for people to know, is that you really want to make sure you're doing your yearly check-ins. For most healthy adults, or for most adults in general, I would say once a year, you want to check in with your doctor and know your numbers. You want to know your blood pressure. You want to know your blood sugar. Diabetes is another issue where oftentimes people don't have symptoms until they've been walking around with their blood sugars in the 300-400, and there's already end organ damage. You don't want to wait to that point. Same thing with STDs, which I see a lot. People walking around with STDs such as chlamydia and gonorrhea, which is very common here in Los Angeles.
I'm sure. In Atlanta too.
And onto their partners, and not knowing because they're not checking in, which should be done again on a yearly basis at minimum, and regardless of your marital status or your relationship, you need to check in to make sure that you know where you stand, so that you're aware fully of what is happening in your body. So I would say, for across the board, the primary misconception is that you got to have symptoms in order for there to be a problem. No. So you don't want to wait until you have symptoms, because likely there's already a bigger issue by the time you show up.
Yes, so true. That's a really good one. I think that everybody on here definitely take note of that. And a reminder to me too, just to it's always better to be on the preventative side. And I think that even transfers into the whole yoga, mobility, stretching, all of that. All of the stuff is preventative stuff that you should be doing consistently, because later in life you're more likely to have things pop up in your body, whether that's physical or whatever it may be. But yeah, I think a lot of people just don't go to their family medicine, like their primary care doctor, on a yearly basis, which is sad. But I mean, the truth is, some people don't like the doctor, or they're like, there are all these ideas around going.
It's not
to
always
get
a fun experience, and I get that. And so I try to create as very calm and welcoming,
right?
So they feel at ease when they come in.
Right. That's great.
They're going
to
the house.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, would you rather wait and finally show up to the doctor years later and then you hear the worst news ever, or would you rather just make that trip now when you might not want to go, but you're like, ooh, thank God I went now so I could get ahead of it? So
I know. I feel that us as women, we're a little bit better with that.
Oh yeah. That's a whole nother topic probably.
Usually are the ones that wait until they have problems or they have symptoms before they show up.
Yeah.
But I think everyone, we can all do better, right? But definitely doing that check-in at least once a year is necessary, and certainly could mean the difference between us, dealing with severe disease or, you know, taking years off of your life because you didn't show up for yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Thanks for sharing that one. I love that. I saw my friend commented, going back to our other question, she said that she struggled with breathing after she lost her dad and her test came back normal. I guess she got tested, and her doctor told her that it was from anxiety. So she was just glad that we were talking about that, the power of breath. So I'm glad that you resonated with that, Hannah. Um, and let's see, somebody else said something. Oh, where do you practice? Where does Dr. Reid practice? Do you practice? You want to say where you practice? I know it's Culver City, but
Sure. Yeah. So I'm in Culver City. So Los Angeles, but Culver City is the community that I'm in. So if you're a local, I'm right off Hughes Avenue. So you can find us. The name of my practice is Trinity Health and Wellness Medical Group. And I'm at 3831 Hughes Avenue, just in the center of the heart of downtown Culver City. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm on Insta, just my name, Noelle Reid MD. Or you can also go to our website. So our website is trinitymedgroup.com, and that's med, medgrp.com. But yeah, you can, if you're already on Instagram, you can follow me on Insta at my name, Noelle Reid MD.
we got to make a trip down to Atlanta, like a
I know. We need to do like
like
a, like a yoga class or something.
I know. I was thinking that we should do, like, you should come down. We can do some sort of event. That would be so much fun. Definitely. Or even I could come out there and we could do something.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to, for 2024, we need to figure that out.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, someone said my father practiced in that building for decades. I'll be there.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
cool.
Wow,
Who is your dad?
Cool. You're like, ooh, I might know him.
No.
That's crazy. Same building.
World.
I'm waiting for her to respond. Okay, I'll ask. I think I'm gonna do two more.
Okay.
First one, oh, Dr. Lowell Third.
Oh.
Do you know her?
I was he in Suite 705? Because that's the suite. I think I took over.
Oh my gosh.
That suite.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow.
That would be insane.
I know.
Things happening purposefully in this
Small world.
life. Like,
Hi, Jen. You have to come say hello to me.
oh my gosh. Did you know the doctor? Him? Did you know him?
No, because I think,
Oh,
oh my goodness.
yes. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Well, you need to come by and see it now.
Now you have to go see Dr. Reid for sure. Oh, she said she has tears in her eyes. Oh, that's amazing.
Come hi to me.
Beautiful.
I'm in the same space. I'm in the same space.
I wonder what kind of physician was he?
I think Dr. Thayer, family medicine, right? Or
Wow.
I think it was either internal medicine or family medicine.
Wow. Oh, I love that.
I know.
Such a full circle moment. Wow.
Well, come on down, Jennifer. I would love to say hello to you.
Yeah, divine purpose for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
So, this is another thing that I get a lot of times in my classes. I get people saying that they have felt like traditional yoga doesn't necessarily cater to their body types. Is that something that you hear a lot? And if so, like, kind of how do you address that with your patients or just people in general?
You know, well, first of all, I don't believe that there's any specific body type for yoga. Okay. I do that way that yoga has been marketed.
Mm-hmm,
okay,
for sure.
See it. The way that it is shown to us would make sense that we don't deserve to be there. Okay. Exactly. I kind of went through that as well, just kind of going to classes and not necessarily feeling welcomed or not necessarily seeing that looked like me in the class. Okay. But yoga is for everyone, right? So we don't need to allow ourselves to create these blocks that don't exist. Because as I patient, if you can breathe, you can do yoga, because yoga starts in breath. So I don't care what your capability is. I have patients who are doing yoga from 5 to 105. Okay. So
Love that.
the
Any
capability
age.
is what it is. And so if you can sit and breathe, that is yoga. And so you're able to adjust to whatever your skill level is, whatever your capability level is, and we can get you to where you need to be. So no, that is a myth that you need to have a certain body. Now, with that said, yes, there are poses and postures that can be challenging, and it may require more flexibility and things of that nature, but you work towards that. That's why it's called yoga practice. So you practice, right, to do better and to get better and to be able to move and to grow within your practice as you are doing it. So yes, there's no such thing as having a certain body type. Again, if you can sit and breathe, then you can do yoga. Then there are no excuses. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, I think that I totally agree that, with classes and how things are marketed now, it's like it can be hard to see, because you see a certain body type, you see a certain person all the time in the media. But I think it probably just depends to you guys what types of classes that you're going to. Maybe you just need to find another instructor, or maybe that instructor doesn't necessarily fit the best for you, and that's okay. It's just finding a place where you feel welcomed, where you feel seen, and you feel like you can grow, and a place that can foster that growth in you. I know. I mean, you've got Dr. Reid. If anybody's in Cali, go see her, because I'm sure she does a great job with that. And I'm here in Atlanta.
And I
But like,
Paula,
try.
you made a comment which you see lots in there. Traditionally, African Americans have been adverse to the benefits of yoga because it's seen as alternative medicine instead of life-altering natural medicine that it is. And so you're right, Paula, in terms of how, again, how I believe that yoga has been marketed in the way that we see it in mainstream, but then also too, kind of the misconceptions that I think we carry in our own community. Because what I've gotten a lot from people is that, well, I'm a Christian, so
Mhm.
I do yoga. And it's just kind of like,
Yeah,
what I have
that's a whole other
one,
topic, the whole religious aspect.
I'm a Christian too, and I do yoga. So I think that a lot of people feel that, that there's some type of religion tied to it, or that maybe, you're not, you would be stemming away from the Christian faith and from God by practicing yoga, which is, again, is there's no truth in that. It is a life practice. It is a lifestyle. It is a therapeutic form of exercise. It doesn't take anything away from your faith. You can be any faith and do yoga practice. And so I think that also is what has kind of hindered us in our own community and African American community in terms of kind of being hesitant and going in that direction. But I think it's changing. I think, with people such as yourself, just being present and being seen and being in the community and teaching these classes and just making people aware of, what all of the benefits are from a yoga practice. I think that is helpful when we have people such as yourself, to be able to foster that.
Right. And I also want to say too, find somebody, like an accountability partner too, if you're like new to yoga or trying to get into it, because I know that was something that helps me sometimes, and I'm still working on trying to get all my friends into it, because not everybody loves it as much as we might. But I feel like it helps a lot if you can have somebody to do it with you, and somebody who you can grow with and enjoy that journey with too. So that's another thing that can help, if you're kind of hesitant about starting it. But again, I think that the teacher that you find, the community, finding all that stuff will hopefully make you feel more embraced when you start on your yoga journey. And just knowing that, like you said before, Dr. Reid, everything is a process. It's called yoga practice for a reason. You're always working towards something. It's sometimes a little bit of like healthy, not necessarily comparing yourself to anybody, but a little bit of healthy competition. Maybe you're in a class, you see people doing things, you're like, oh, I love how they do that. I want to work towards being able to do
Yeah,
that downward
use it as
dog, lifting
motivation.
my leg up.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
block you, but use it as motivation and something to work towards. And And even for those who practice, like for myself, some days I'm not the best at my yoga practice. I'm like, oh,
Some days are different.
I'm kind of tight today. Like this is not working today.
Right.
And it, you know, it changes from day to day, and it is what it is what it is for today, and that's what it's going to be for today, and it's okay. We have to give ourselves some grace, you know, in that. So
Exactly. I see some comments. I'm going to go back. Somebody said there's a space for us all. I look forward to growing and learning. That is great. My friend Hannah Hayes said, yes, I had an instructor who told me you don't have to be perfect, and that helped me. Sometimes you see people around doing advanced moves and it can be discouraging, but it's your own practice. Exactly. And she comes to my classes, so I'm so happy to have you. Jennifer said, I take grief yoga and getting certified soon. Oh, great.
wow. So Jennifer,
well, you guys had definitely have to connect.
I know.
It has helped me to do in so many ways, from my body to my mind. I'm thankful and consider it a part of God's grace. Yes, so glad to hear it, you guys. Oh, yay. Thanks for all the comments.
Yes.
My last question kind of played into that one, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But does anybody have any more questions? I feel like that was a great way to end our discussion, and super, super nice to have everybody so engaged.
Looks like someone commented, other than yoga and cardio, is there another workout we should focus on? I got a DEXA scan and they told me my bone density is low and that I need to work on strength training. Very good question. So yes, for osteoporosis, osteopenia, so when you have a loss of bone mineral density, bone mass, resistance training is actually a good form of exercise to help to maintain and build that bone. And so in addition to yoga, I would say also Pilates, because Pilates offers that resistance training that is gentle to the joints, that's gentle to the bones, that works on the core. So the core being our center, right? So all posture, balance, movement stems from the core. So I would say if you're looking for another type of workout, Pilates would be a good complement to that, particularly if you are having issues with osteopenia or osteoporosis.
Great, that was a good answer.
Let me see if there's any other questions. Yeah. I don't know if you saw any other questions.
I don't think so. Just comments. She said she has MS and she's excited to explore her practice. Oh, that's good.
Cool. Yeah, movement therapy is definitely great for multiple sclerosis. So I think that's going to be good for you for sure. Mm-hmm.
Just make sure nobody else had anything. I meant to mention this in the beginning. If you guys are looking to start your yoga journey, even if you're in California, wherever you are, I'm doing a 7-day yoga series for the new year for 2024. So that will be starting on Monday of next week, just to kind of start fresh, a new week. And it will be on another page outside of this Ageless Mobility page. It's going to be at 7-Day Yoga 2024. I will drop that page here. But basically, you want to follow.
Is that online that you're doing, or it's in person?
It's virtual, but I created another. It's like a private Instagram page, and that's where I'll be doing Instagram lives like this every day at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But I'll be posting. So like after our live now, I'm gonna post it on the page. So if you follow and sign up for the program, it's $10 to sign up. But if you sign up and follow, you'll have access to all of the videos. So even if like you're not available at 6 p.m. Eastern time, or you want to go back and watch them later, they will be available. And it's going to be about 45 minutes every day that I'll take you guys through the series. We'll focus on different areas of the body every day. So it's going to be a great way to just kind of get like a yoga routine down for you.
Really cool.
Thanks. I'm excited. I've never done a series like this, but I thought it would be a great way for, in the new year. I know everybody's trying to get their yoga and their fitness.
Everybody's trying to get well.
Right? I know. I'm like, let's keep it going. I don't know. I hope you guys do an ATL class. Oh, I love your classes. And Dr. Noelle, I did. Oh, she said she did your Zoom yoga class during COVID.
Oh,
That's my
cool.
friend Hannah. She comes to my classes. Oh, that's so funny. She did your class. I love that.
Yeah, I haven't done a Zoom class in a really long time. I need to figure out. I need to figure out how I'm going to do my virtual again. I don't know.
Yeah, you should do it. Do another one. We could do a combined class too. That would be fun.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, probably Zoom. Or even, honestly, even if we do like an Instagram live one, that would be fun too.
Do together.
Maybe on like a weekend or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then the time would probably be better too. Um, but yeah, oh, signing up. Oh, great. But yeah, that page that I linked below, that's the private page. If you just hit follow, I'll accept you. And then I'll send you how to actually sign up for the program. So, but yes, thank you so much, Dr. Reid, for joining. It was so much fun. I love having
Yeah,
these
I had a
discussions.
good time. So I hope you know, you guys got something out of it and there was some good information shared. So, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, I think it was a great balance of fun and knowledge and health, like talking about the medical stuff and the yoga stuff. So I hope
Yeah.
everybody learned a lot from tonight.
Well,
So yes, make sure.
happy to be here. Namaste.
Namaste. But everybody who's on, again, thank you guys so much for joining, and give both of us a follow if you don't already follow us. I am Alaya, Ageless Mobility, and Dr. Noelle Reid. What's exactly your IG again, so people can.
It's just my name,
It's just your
Noelle
name. Okay.
MD.
Okay. Yeah, everybody give her a follow, and yeah, thanks for joining. I guess everybody have a great night. Stay safe and get some yoga in and some breathing in before bed. Okay, I will see you later. Bye.
I see you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.